What if the sovereign hand is clearest where chains seem tightest? Dusk over Dothan, a robe is torn, a pit yawns and swallows the favored son. Sand smooths the brothers' footprints as caravan bells toward Egypt. In a strange tongue and a foreign courtyard, the young Hebrew learns quiet work in clean hands. A house prospers under his care. A false charge strikes like a sudden storm. The garment meant to cover becomes the witness that condemns. Iron closes where trust once opened. Yet one sentence keeps ringing through corridor and cell alike. The Lord was with Joseph. Before the story ends, you will see three sure threads. First, that God rules the descent, pit, house, and prison, without abandoning his servant. Second, that he tempers wisdom in hidden years, so the right hour finds the right steward. Third, that mercy rises higher than vengeance, so family and future live. Lord, cover your servant with peace. Give strong faith to stand in truth when slander rises. Keep heart and mind under your protection. Rule every corridor, pit, house, and prison until your purpose opens. Amen. What if the road to a ruler's seal begins with dust in a cistern and the creak of a slave cart? The Holy One orders Joseph's descent from pit to caravan to Potiphar's house, to forge a steward whose faithfulness prospers every place he is given. Betrayal permitted, purpose preserved. Brothers strip the robe, sell the son, but cannot sell the promise. Presence in a foreign house. The Lord was with Joseph, and his master sees that the Lord makes all he does to prosper. Trust widened by integrity. Potiphar commits all into Joseph's hand. Blessing extends to the whole estate. Dothan's field grows quiet after the shouting. A tunic, once bright with a father's favor, lies crushed at a pit's edge. A rope burns at Joseph's wrists. Silver clinks in a pouch not his own as traders bargain and camels kneel. The caravan tilts south toward the Nile. Wind rolls the desert. Dust writes a line of Providence no eye in the party can read. At Egypt's gates, voices rise in a marketplace of tongues. Hands weigh muscle and measure height. The captain of Pharaoh's guard, Potiphar, marks the young Hebrew and buys him. In that house of stone courtyards and cool shade, the sentence that guided cistern and road speaks again. The Lord was with Joseph. Floors are swept earlier, ledgers are counted cleaner, jars are sealed tighter. Gardens answer with fruit, stables settle. The rhythm of the estate finds a steadier drum. Potiphar watches long enough to see a pattern, that the Lord makes all he does to prosper in his hand. Trust grows, keys jingle at Joseph's belt. Servants look to his nod. He leaves all that he has in Joseph's hand. He knows nothing of his own house save the bread he eats. Egyptian stone holds a Hebrew's diligence, and Egyptian fields drink a blessing that travels with him. Yet the furnace that tempers a steward is not ease but testing. The house empties at appointed hours. Footsteps echo in inner rooms. Eyes begin to follow Joseph's path. A voice will soon speak when no other voices are near. The same presence that prospered his work will demand his allegiance at cost. For this moment, a faithful hand setting accounts in order. On a lamp trimmed before dawn. On a man who serves as though another watches. What if the price of saying no is the loss of every visible gain? In Potiphar's house, Joseph chooses the fear of God over forbidden comfort. He bears false accusation and is lowered to prison, where the Lord again establishes him by faithful work. Integrity over advantage. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Day after day he refuses until he must flee. Innocent suffering, a seized cloak becomes false evidence. Anger flares, chains follow, favor in captivity. The Lord is with him in the prison. The keeper entrusts all into Joseph's hand. Royal prisoners are placed under his care. The house grows quiet at the hour when shadows lengthen across stone. Servants finish their tasks. Doors breathe shut. Joseph moves through ordered rooms with the keys of trust at his belt. A voice beckons where no witness stands. Words sharpen to command. Hands reach for garment and for man. Joseph answers with a sentence that weighs more than the house itself. My master has kept back nothing from me but you. How can I do this and sin against God? Days pass and the net tightens. In a moment cut from the day's work, the garment is seized. Joseph tears himself free and runs. Cloth remains. Innocence flees, naked of proof. Cries rise like trumpets. Accusation frames itself around the cloak. Potiphar returns. The tale is told. Wrath answers before inquiry. He casts Joseph into the place where the king's prisoners are bound. Iron learns his wrists. Stone becomes his bed. But the Lord is with Joseph. Favor, the quiet river that moved in a captain's house, moves now beneath a keeper's keys. Tasks are given, then expanded. The keeper sees what Potiphar saw, work that steadies, eyes that watch, hands that do not fail. He commits all that is done there into Joseph's hand. Nights deepen inside the walls. Chains speak softly at turns. Two new faces enter the ward, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker. Men once near the king's table, now near his displeasure. The captain charges Joseph to attend them. Bowls are set at dawn. Water is drawn. The small dignities of fallen officials are kept by a Hebrew steward in bonds. On a certain morning, their countenance is altered. Sleep has sent them messages they cannot read. The path for a palace turns through dreams first entrusted to a prisoner. What if deliverance moves at the pace of a forgotten promise until a king loses sleep? Waiting under silence. The cupbearer is restored and forgets. 2 full years pass. Wisdom revealed. Pharaoh's 2 dreams are one message. 7 years of plenty, 7 of famine. A plan to guard life, authority entrusted. Pharaoh exalts Joseph, clothing him with ring, linen, and chariot to govern the land. Days in the ward fall like quiet beads on a cord. The chief cupbearer is lifted to his post. The baker's place is empty. Joseph holds the memory of interpretations that prove true, and the request he spoke in the dim light. Remember me. Silence answers. 2 full years stand watch. Then a night in Pharaoh's house shakes its pillars. Out of the Nile come 7 cows, sleek with river light. After them, 7 lean and gaunt devour the fat and show no gain. Ears of grain follow, full then scorched, consumed without a trace. The magicians search their arts. Wisdom returns void. In the king's hall, a man remembers his fault. The cupbearer speaks of a Hebrew youth in a prison ward, interpretations that came to pass. A runner descends a stair. Chains are struck. Water is poured. A blade shaves. Garments change. Joseph stands in the place of kings. I have heard it said of you that you can understand a dream. It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer. The dreams are told again. Joseph's words come measured and sure. The 2 dreams are one. 7 years of great plenty are appointed over all Egypt. After them, 7 years of famine will consume the land. The matter is fixed, and it will shortly come about. Counsel follows meaning. Let Pharaoh set a discerning and wise man over the land. Appoint overseers. Gather a fifth in the years of abundance. Store the grain in the cities under Pharaoh's hand as a reserve for the famine. The court grows still. Can we find a man like this, in whom is the Spirit of God? Since God has shown you all this, you shall be over my house. Only as to the throne will I be greater than you. A signet ring slides from royal hand to Hebrew hand. Fine linen replaces prison cloth. A gold chain finds his neck. The second chariot kneels to his step. A herald runs before him. Bow the knee. Joseph is 30 years old when he stands to govern. He passes through the land, measuring its strength. In the years of plenty, he gathers grain like sand until the scribes cannot number it. He receives Asenath as wife. A household is established. 2 sons are named by the weight of Providence. Manasseh, God has made me forget all my hardship. Ephraim, God has made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. Then famine lifts its hard face over every field. Rations open under Joseph's seal. All the earth comes to Egypt to buy, for the famine is severe. News runs the roads north toward Canaan. Wait when memory fails you. The Lord keeps time better than men keep promises. Speak God's meaning before kings. Let the plan serve life, not pride. Wear authority as stewardship. Rings and chariots answer to the giver. Lord, remember your servant as you remembered Joseph. Give the wisdom that reads what you reveal, and the courage to act as a faithful steward. Set humility beneath honor and life beneath every plan. Establish your providence in our house. Amen. What if the chains that bound a slave were the very links God used to draw a nation to mercy? Joseph's unveiling before his brothers shows providence ruling pain, forgiveness disarming guilt, and a throne held as stewardship under God's hand. Providence named. Joseph reads his path by God sending, not men selling. Forgiveness given, fear breaks, tears answer, guilt yields to mercy. Stewardship sealed. Palace, granaries, and caravans serve life, not pride. The men from Canaan stand trembling in an Egyptian hall. Silver cups, open sacks, a governor whose gaze cuts through disguises. Then the room turns. Joseph sends the attendants away. He weeps aloud. He speaks in their tongue and in their names. I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? The brothers cannot answer. Their breath fails. He draws them near. Do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life. The famine will last. Goshen is prepared. Wagons wait under Pharaoh's favor. News rides north. An old father's heart revives at the sight of the carts. The caravan bends south with a nation's hope. In Goshen, sons arrange their households beneath Joseph's word. In the court, Joseph stands his father before Pharaoh, and the elder blesses the king. Years of scarcity come. Storehouses open. The land is managed with firm hands and remembered mercy. Time gathers its weight. Jacob is buried in the cave of Machpelah. The brothers' fear rises again. Now he will repay us. They send a plea. They fall before him. Behold, we are your servants. Joseph answers with a gentleness stronger than wrath. Do not fear, for am I in the place of God? You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive. He comforts them. He provides for them and for their little ones. The hall that once heard accusations now shelters a family under a ruler's kindness. This is the line of grace. God sent where men sold. God raised where prisons closed. God preserved where famine spread. Joseph does not rewrite history. He names its author. Thrones serve when they bow to providence. Forgiveness stands tallest when it refuses to sit in God's seat. Remain with us for Moses in the burning bush. God's call to lead. A desert flame that does not consume. A name that sends and a shepherd raised to confront a throne.